like South Carolina, but just make sure when you say you don't like South Carolina, make sure you sit there and say, well, I don't like the national champion South Carolina Gamecocks, okay? They ended their perfect undefeated 38-0 season, okay? Holding up that trophy, beating Iowa today, 87-75. It was an amazing game. If you missed out on watching Iowa and South Carolina go at it in that beginning tip-off, you missed some of the best, most beautiful basketball we could have asked for. It was competitive from the jump. Iowa came and was ready to play. They came out hot from the start, hitting every single shot, defensively getting turnovers. They were on it, okay? And I give South Carolina a lot of credit because this is a young team. There's a lot of freshmen on this team. They stayed composed. They stayed disciplined. At certain points in that first half, it looked like this game is getting away from them. And let me tell you, Dawn Staley, respect Dawn Staley, okay? Queen Dawn Staley, legend Dawn Staley, because she made very important adjustments in this game that led South Carolina to winning this game. First, going to start with Miss Raven Johnson because she needs to be acknowledged. She got her lick back today. She got her lick back, all right? Because last year she was getting waved off in the semis by Caitlin Clark. Said she felt embarrassed. Said she was ready to quit basketball because of that. But said, no, I'm going to get in the gym and be better. She improved her three-point shooting. It wasn't great in this game, but she didn't settle. She didn't try to prove a point. She said, you know what? I'm going to affect the game a different way. Let's play defense. We both finna be on this island together. Me and you, buddy. We finna be going around these screens. I'm to your hip. I'm pickpocketing. We here. Seatbelt. Tuck, okay? She sat there and really neutralized what Caitlin Clark could have done even in a different way in that second half, okay? She was there. If you don't believe it, I'm going to show you the stats in a minute. But at one point in that third quarter, Caitlin Clark only had 2 points. And I applaud Raven Johnson because you could allow the moment to consume you or you could perform. They always say defense wins championships, offense sells tickets. That defense for South Carolina started with Raven Johnson and ended with Raven Johnson. When Raven Johnson was on Caitlin Clark, she only scored 7 points. Anybody else on South Carolina's team, she scored 23. Raven Johnson's on her. She goes 3 for 11. Her field goal percentage goes to 27%, and she has 4 turnovers. There was a point in the third quarter, Raven Johnson is on her, and Caitlin had only scored 2 points. Okay? Give some respect to Raven Johnson, all right? Again, you don't have to like South Carolina. You can be fans of whoever you want to be fans of. But if you love great basketball, that is what you call winning, okay? You hear people always say, defense wins championships, offense sells tickets. Defense won South Carolina this game and their second unit. Now we got to talk about the freshman, Miss Tessa Johnson, all right? 19 points, season high, coming off the bench of that second unit. I have been saying throughout the season, South Carolina has 2 starting fives. That second unit for South Carolina gave them that spark. Watkins, Fagan, Tessa Johnson, Malaysia Fuwiley, they started to speed up the pace a little, getting to the basket. But Tessa Johnson said, oh, y'all gonna let me shoot this ball? Y'all must not know I'm Tessa Johnson. I've been on a heater this entire tournament. I'm here for the moment too. She is the reason why South Carolina started to really get away with it because she brought that perimeter shooting. They struggled to get their perimeter shots in the first half. That second half, she said, no. We're going to start this second half right. Get me the ball. We're finna cook. There was moments where she said, you know what? I don't have to force my shot. Head down, go to the basket, get a foul. I'm going to the free throw line. Mid-range. Let me tell you, South Carolina made such a big adjustment in the second half to stop that zone Iowa was in. When you're in a zone, the best thing you can do is get to the middle of the court. It's always going to be open. That's how you beat a zone. But can you score in the middle? You got to hit your mid-range. They started to incorporate Tessa Johnson driving up mid-range, Chloe Kitts mid-range. They started to start that third quarter attacking what that zone was. But Miss Tessa Johnson, hey, she 19 points, leading scorer for them. Camilla Cardoso ended up getting most outstanding player. I loved her effort in the fourth quarter defensively, coming up to the body of Iowa, making sure that they didn't have easy shots. She did struggle a little bit in that first half to find her rhythm, kind of struggled a little bit in that third quarter as well, but her presence was still felt in that fourth, getting rebounds, getting putbacks, defensively stopping a lot of shots for Iowa. It was a well-rounded game all the way for South Carolina. Now we got to talk about Miss Dawn Staley, Miss Dawn Queen Staley, okay? She sat there, and if you didn't watch that post-game interview, she said, all glory to God because it's uncommon favor. Humility. I had to be humbled. We lost last year. Partially to my fault coaching. I didn't adjust. They beat us last year. I tried not to think about it, but here we are. They were ranked 6th when the season started. Everyone doubted that South Carolina could do this again. They left 5 starters all to the WNBA. These are freshmen. She can't do it again. Not with this next team. South Carolina's lost their juice. There's no way they're going to find themselves back in this stage. The fact that Dawn said she had to learn how to coach differently this team. She had to grow and pivot. Allowed them to play freely. And what do you have? An undefeated season in a natty. After last year when everyone said this is embarrassing. They're not going to be back to the mountaintop. Dawn Staley is the epitome of coaching. You don't have to like her, but respect her. She made adjustments, which coaches do in big games. She said, you know what? I like this second unit. Let's let our freshmen cook. Tessa Johnson, freshman. Let her cook. Mylasia Fuwiley, freshman. Defensive presence, getting to the basket. Watkins, young. Fagan, young. Okay, we're going to win this game, though. Adjusted in that second half, defensively and offensively. And this is what I love about Dawn Staley. She sat there and obviously loved about her team, but she sat there and said to Caitlin Clark, you're one of the GOATs. You push this game forward. She's a pure class act. She could have sat there and made it all about her team. She said, no. Caitlin, you are big for this moment as well. Obviously, it didn't end how you wanted it to, but you are important to this game, and don't forget it. How can you not love Dawn Staley? How can you not root for her? And also, shout out to Under Armour for hitting us with the ad, you win some, you lose none. Perfection. Now let's talk about Caitlin Clark. Now, she finished the game 30 points, had a great first half performance, struggled in that second half because of the defense, started to adjust and start getting to the basket, using her body to really create shots at the basket, really try to get her teammates involved, but it was hard. She struggled in that third quarter, like I said, and kind of in that fourth quarter, had some turnovers. You know, Iowa had really great looks. The shots just weren't falling. I really loved how Hannah Stolke played and how she runs in transition to the basket. I thought that was really pivotal. At one point, the game was 76-70. Iowa was going on a run in that fourth quarter, and then again the defense of South Carolina. But I'll say this, just because Caitlin Clark is going to leave college without having any national championships, she is still one of the GOATs of college basketball, and I think her legacy can't be defined by the losses in a natty. It has to be by her impact. This is somebody who's a basketball junkie. You could tell she loves basketball. It is who she is. She's obsessed with it, how she plays, how her emotions show itself. She cares about this game a lot. She wants to grow the women's game. So it's not fair to her to classify her career with the 2 losses in a national championship. It has to be just about her. She's broken records. She's affected viewership. She's done a lot of great things for the game and is going to keep growing it in the W. So I am honestly proud to say that we've watched Caitlin Clark. We've marveled at what she's done in college. I think she gave it all she had. And it honestly is amazing what we've seen from her. We're seeing this new wave, I feel like, of women's basketball. And it's really amazing to see. And the fact that she's a part of it is really great as well. So hopefully the conversation is that it was 2 great teams going at it, a really great player going at a great team, a great coach coaching against a great player, just kind of giving the props all the way around. You don't have to wish for Caitlin Clark's failure. You don't have to hate on Caitlin Clark, even if you were going for South Carolina or whoever. Appreciate what you see. Great basketball, great players who love the game. And honestly, it's been amazing to see Caitlin Clark's collegiate career and what she's done for Iowa as a program and having them on this stage back-to-back years. So thank Caitlin Clark for what she's done for this game, obviously, and the collegiate game. It's been great to be a spectator in it because you don't always see it all the time. So keep the love for Caitlin because the W is going to be great for her. But in the end, like I said, there's 2 teams at the mountaintop and only one can hold up the trophy, and that is going to be South Carolina. They're holding up the trophy this year. Well done on their season. It was amazing watching the game, how well they played. I think we all knew throughout the season that they were one of the most complete teams. They had the roster. They had the depth. Number 1 defense in the country against the number 1 offense in the country. The young ones wanted to go out there and prove themselves. They were on a revenge tour, as they call it. They got their lick back, all right? And that's sports. You get knocked down, you got to get your lick back. And they got their lick back today.